So it's December 31st and the clock is about to strike 12. And the moment it does, you feel electric. You know this year's gonna be different. You know you're gonna crush your goals and change your life and everything's gonna be better. And before you know it, it's January 22nd and you realize you really haven't made the progress you wanted to. And then it's March 28th and you're like, wow, we're already a quarter into the year. And then suddenly you wake up one day and it's September and you forget about your goals. And then you're like, you know what? I'm gonna start again next year. 2024, that's gonna be my year. But why do you keep failing to reach your goals? So it's not even motivation. It's not even discipline, but it's actually your habits. So instead of focusing on the goals itself, you need to focus on systems. So I want to get into a couple of points and then try to follow up with some examples to give you some color commentary. The first thing is goals make situations seem binary. Either you reach your goal, succeed, great, or you fail. And it's like, damn, like you kind of don't really know what to do with it once you fail. There's nothing in between, but that's where most of the learnings are. So if you focus on goals, you miss out on those learnings. Because if you fail, you weren't the problem, but the system in place is the problem. Okay, so two people could have the same goal and one person succeeds, the other person miserably fails, right? This doesn't make both those people on the same tier because they set the same goal. The differentiator isn't the goal, it's the system in place. So you should be focused on that system because that's going to determine the outcome, whether you succeed or fail. So an example, you and your friend across the country set the same goal to lose 30 pounds on January 1st. Then you check in at the end of the year and he lost the 30 pounds and you didn't. Just because you had the same goal, like you probably felt all cool, like yeah, we're in this together, we're in the same page, we're in the same boat. But you weren't, unless you were focused on the system, how you're gonna get there, you weren't at all. So the goal is not the differentiator, the system in place is. Goals delay feelings of satisfaction and gratification. So you can easily lose momentum and then give up if you focus on the goals. Because a goal, it's the end of it, right? When you reach the goal. But if you don't have any gratification along the way, then you will probably give up before you get there. So it's important to focus on the system, which will teach you to love the process. And then you're more likely to reach the goal, or even if you don't reach the goal, it's probably kind of arbitrary. But you need to learn to love the process and focus on the system in place to reach the goal. Focusing on the goal will narrow the possible paths to reach it and will kind of give you tunnel vision almost. It makes you miss the other ways of doing things. So it's better to be solution oriented versus being fixated on just the one goal or the goals that you set. So another example here, I like this one. So again, same thing, you and your friend lose 30 pounds, right? But let's say you lose 15 pounds, but you focus on the 30 pounds. So all you're doing is like trying to lose the weight because that's the goal you set. But instead, if you focus on the system, you'll realize that you don't actually need to lose 30 pounds. Maybe after losing 15, you realize, you know what, I actually want to get bigger, I want to get stronger, I want to get more muscular, right? So if you focus on the system, which is working out, eating well, surrounding yourself with people that are supportive and are like-minded, right? That's the system. And if you're focused on that and not the goal, you'll realize maybe you want to change your goal. You're not going to give up on your goal. Maybe you just find a better goal. But again, back to what I said earlier, the goal's often pretty arbitrary. Because even if you reach that goal, it's just a momentary action. What's next, right? But if you focus on systems in place, you realize this will allow you to sustain habits and lead to inherent change for the long haul. At the end of the day, that's what we're here for, right? We're in the game of life for the long haul, hopefully. So goals are for setting direction, but systems are for making progress. So let's dig a little deeper and let's talk about the layers of change. Let's think of it as an onion, okay? The first layer that you peel is a layer of outcomes. So this is basically for setting direction. These are the goals that you have. The second layer are the layer of processes. So this should be the main focus of your change, right? This is basically the systems that we mentioned, and the majority of the time spent will be here. And then the inner layer, the nucleus, so to say, is the layer of identity. So this encompasses your opinions, your assumptions, and your beliefs about yourself and the world at large. Changes in behavior are motivated by the person that you want to be. You will never be able to make a change unless it really aligns with your inner self. Changes shouldn't be outcome based because you'll never be able to stick to them, right? If it's just about the outcome at hand, like, oh, I want to lose 30 pounds, you won't be able to stick to it because eventually it's not going to be coming from a place of within, right? So you have to really align your why. Instead, focus should be identity based. So it shouldn't be, I want this result. It should be, I want to be this person. And then eventually, your actions become the evidence of your identity, right? Because you could believe something, but if your actions don't represent it, it doesn't really matter. But eventually, if you have the right systems in place, so the middle layer, and then you have the right outer layer, the goal, then your actions become the evidence of your identity, and that's what you need to strive for. Because this makes you want to live up to that identity. Okay, so let's give an example, right? So some people say, instead of saying I want to lose weight, you want to say I want to be an athlete. That notion is a little bit cheesy for me. Like you don't always have to want to be an athlete. You might just want to lose weight. I get that. So let's just say you don't actually take this identity shift and you just want to lose weight and that's it, right? So even if you muster up the self-discipline or you have the right systems in place to reach that goal, then I would actually say that you will probably eventually go back to your old habits and probably gain that weight back, maybe even more over time. So again, you don't have to do a full-on identity shift of I am an athlete, but you could find something in the middle, right? Like I am somebody who prioritizes my health and takes care of my body, right? I mean, that's a mouthful. It doesn't roll off the tongue, but regardless, like that could be your inner belief, right? Your inner belief could just be, I'm somebody that takes care of myself and prioritizes myself and wants to live a long life, right? So if that's your new identity and that's the nucleus of your change, then whenever something that wants to disrupt your process, you'll be like, no, you'll kind of hone it back in to your nucleus, to your identity that you want to make. That's not fully there yet, but you have that mindset. And then again, like I said, your actions are the evidence, right? So if you have enough actions in place over time, then you will build that identity. So to bring it all home, unless you take a step back to reflect on your why and what you want your identity, your nucleus to be of the layers of change, you will never get anywhere. So this is something I do with all my clients, my friends, or anything that when they have a goal, I'd say let's take a step back, let's think about the why, and let's think about this identity that you want to build. Because unless your foundation is strong and you have an identity shift in mind, you won't be able to make any sustainable change. Because even if, let's just say you don't have the nucleus, you have the system in place, sure, but like eventually the system might not even reach your goal because the boat will keep getting rocked. And you need that nucleus to hold it down. So the main reason you're not reaching your goals is, for one, most people are focused on the outer layer, just the goal. But then some people, yes, they are focused on the middle layer, the systems, the processes, which is great, but even that's not enough. You really need to get to the inner layer, the nucleus, change your identity, and that won't let you fail. Because over time, you will do whatever it takes to live up to your identity because you want to be that person. You can lie to other people, but you can't lie to yourself. So if you have that right foundation, you'll reach your goals. I hope you use this approach when you're focusing on all your goals that you want to reach, whether it's this year, whether it's in your next 5 years, 10 years, what have you, but just kind of keep bringing it back to your inner layer and then your middle layer, and then make sure you're setting the right outer layer. Take care, my friends. So hopefully you liked this video. Please give it a like if you did. Comment what your goals are and comment what your biggest learnings were or where you feel like you kept messing up on the way to your goals. And make sure you subscribe for more content related to this, related to fitness. Happy 2023, my friends.